Hey, what's up guys, Ryan here from ExtremeTerrain, and today I'm here with a Westin WJ2 Rear Bumper in textured black, fitting your 2018 and up Jeep Wrangler JL. Now if you're looking to change up the appearance of your Wrangler while adding some additional protection and functionality, then you should be thinking about swapping out that rear bumper for an aftermarket heavy-duty steel option. This bumper is made of heavy-duty steel plating, fully welded up, and it's going to provide plenty of strength to the rear over that factory plastic bumper. It is a full-width bumper, so you're still going to maintain that flare-to-flare protection. And of course it has a ton of features, some of which I have yet to see on another bumper. This bumper is going to allow you to add additional LED lighting. It even has spots for rock lights and great recovery points with the welded D-ring mounts. One of the features I have yet to see on another aftermarket bumper is going to be a cutout right here in the bumper to install a high lift jack, allow you to lift up your vehicle on the trail when you need to make those repairs. This bumper has a very aggressive angular design, and along with that full width bumper, it has high clearance ends. This is going to give you better departure angles when you're on the trail and you're coming down off of an obstacle. The whole thing is finished off in a very nice textured black powder coating. It's going to add to that aggressive off-roading good looks of your Wrangler while protecting your investment from the elements, providing corrosion protection. This bumper accommodates your factory tow hitch and even some aftermarket tow hitches as well, and it even comes with a relocation bracket and additional LED lighting so you can relocate that license plate and license plate light. Now this bumper is completely bolt-on and comes with all brand new hardware, everything you need to install, so there's no drilling or modification required, and this bumper fits very, very well. Now this style bumper can range anywhere from $400 all the way over to $1,000, and this one is coming in right around $500. Now of course those higher price options are going to be comprised of better steel and have a better powder coating, and they're designed to last you a long time. For the money, the fitment, and all of those features that you're getting, I think this is a great option to go with for that price. Now, as far as install goes, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, as you can get this thing installed in about 2 hours just using basic hand tools. Now, with that being said, let's hop into the install. Tools we use for this install: 3/8 drive impact, 3/8 drive extensions, 21mm socket, 19mm socket, 16mm socket, 13mm socket, 8mm socket with a 1/4 inch drive extension, 10mm wrench, 3/8 drive ratchet, 3/8 drive air ratchet, 1/4 inch drive ratchet, and a wiring tool. So if you wanted to get that spare tire out of the way, it would be a good idea, give you a little more room to work with, but this is totally optional. If you decide to take this off, you're gonna have to take off this center locking cap, and you're gonna have 3 lug nuts. You'll need a 22mm socket to get it off. We're gonna jump right into the bumper uninstall, so I'm gonna hop on my creeper, get right under there, and we'll get started. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start on the end. We have these little plastic splash guards we need to take off. There's gonna be 3 screws total. I'm gonna do this outer one first, and you'll need an 8mm socket to get that screw out. So then you're gonna have 2 on the inside right here. Same thing, 8mm socket. We'll pull those out and we can get this cover off. So next we're going to take off this bracket that was underneath of that plastic section. You're going to have 4 bolts total. You're going to have 2 going into the bumper right here, and you're going to have 2 on the other end that go into the frame. We're going to start with these 2 right here. We're going to use a 16mm socket to get those out. So we're going to go on the other side and get these bolts out of the frame section. Once you get that last bolt ready to come out, you want to put a hand on this bracket because it's ready to come off. So then we're going to hop on over to the other side and do that same exact thing. So we're going to stay on that same side. Next we have to get our tow hook off. So we have 2 bolts on the side and we have 1 bolt down here. This bottom one's going to be a 21mm, and these 2 side ones we're going to use a 19mm socket. Let's start with this bottom one first and get that out. And while we're over here, we're gonna unplug our license plate light as well. So that's gonna be this little plug right here. You can pull that off of here. And on this front side, we're gonna have this little tab that we need to press in. So you have this gray locking tab we'll need to press up. Once you get that up, you're gonna press down on that gray tab once it's out and up. And that's gonna allow us to unplug it. So we're gonna go over to the other side. Now, as you see, we don't have a tow hook here, so we don't need to take out this bottom bolt. However, we do need to take out these two side bolts, so we're gonna use that same 19mm to get those out. So then we're gonna move to the middle, right in the middle, in front of the muffler right here on this frame section. You're gonna have these two bolts. We need to get those out as well. These are gonna be 19s, just like the side of those tow hooks. So we're gonna go ahead and thread these out. So now that we have all that hardware removed, we can go ahead and get our bumper off. It's relatively light, it's just made of plastic, so you can probably do it yourself. I am gonna open the tailgate just to give me a little more room and get our spare tire away from our bumper. So we finally got our stock bumper uninstalled, which was a relatively easy uninstall. And before we get this new bumper installed, we do still have some things to do. We have to attach a relocation bracket up top and wire up some lights, as well as some other bracketry. But before we get to that, I want to take a moment just to talk a little bit about these two bumpers, some of the differences between those two, and as well as some of the features and benefits you're going to get with an aftermarket bumper such as this. The first thing I want to talk about is your factory bumper. Your factory bumper is made of plastic, so it's not going to provide very much protection. This is great for daily driving and light bumps and bruises, whether you're on road, in a parking lot, or if you're on the trail. But if you're looking for more functionality, which the stock bumper really doesn't have any functionality, it is a full width bumper, so it's going to provide a good amount of protection. Then you want to go with an aftermarket bumper such as this. Now this bumper is pretty cool, and Westin has covered the majority of the options and all of your bases as far as this is considered. Now one of the main issues with our JL is when we're ditching that rear factory bumper, of course our license plate and our light is located in the bumper. So many other options in the aftermarket world, they're not going to include relocation brackets or lighting, and that's something that you're going to have to outsource, costing extra money. Westin has already taken care of that, and that's the first thing I want to talk about. They give you a relocation bracket, and they even give you two little LEDs that you can wire directly into your factory harness, and that's going to illuminate your license plate. Now this bumper is filled with a ton of features, and I'm going to talk about them one by one. Now, the first one I talk about is this little tiny hole down here in the side. Now that's actually for a rock light, so you can install a little tiny rock light there, and they are angled so they're going to shine outward. This is great if you're backing up on the trail, or if you're just backing up on a very dark road at night. That's going to light up right behind your rear wheel, and that's going to give you a lot of vision in the dark. Next thing I want to talk about is this little notch right here. Now you have one of these on both sides, same with these rock lights. This is actually for a farm jack or a high lift jack. You can stick your jack in there, and that gives you a great point to lift your Jeep up and do any fixes or recoveries that you need to do on the trail. Now this bumper doesn't come with D-rings, but we have plenty of options to choose from on our site. Now this thing is fully welded up. That's going to give you a great recovery point for when you're pulling someone out, or if you're getting pulled out, you get stuck on those trails. Now the next little cutout is going to be this little square, and that's actually going to allow you to mount a little LED light. Same thing, you have one on both sides, and you can fit a 3-inch cube light, and this is going to be great for when you're off-roading in the dark. You want to back up on those trails, you need some extra lighting, or if you're doing a rear recovery, that's going to light up everything. Now along with that relocation bracket for your license plate, Westin includes a bracket for any trailer harnesses. So if you have a tow package on your vehicle and you have that trailer plug, they give you a bracket to mount that, and that's going to hold that for you. Next thing I want to talk about is this cutout in the center. Now they give you the cutout, and this is going to fit a factory hitch, an aftermarket hitch, or even Westin's own hitch, and that's going to allow you to throw this bumper on there and utilize that factory hitch. This bumper has a very aggressive angular design, and it's going to add to that aggressive styling. It's made of full steel. It's actually 3/16, and it's a very heavy bumper. This is one of the sturdier bumpers that I've come across when installing these on the Wranglers. This is a full width bumper, so you're gonna get that flare-to-flare protection just like your factory one, only it's gonna be better, and the whole thing is finished off with a black powder coating. It's gonna add to that aggressive styling, and it's also gonna protect your investment from the elements, keeping this thing corrosion-free. Now, like I said, we need to attach our license plate bracket, and we need to wire up those lights, so we do have a couple brackets that we need to install. One thing I like about this is a completely bolt-on bumper, and Westin, like I said, has covered everything that we need to do. So with that being said, we're gonna get this stuff bolted on, then we're gonna get it on the Jeep, show you how to install it and what it looks like. So like I said, before we get our bumper installed, we need to mount a few things. I'm actually gonna show you how to install your license plate bracket. Right here, the relocation bracket, of course these little LED lights that they give us, and I wanted to show you exactly this trailer plug bracket. Now this doesn't bolt to the bumper, this actually bolts to the frame section. I looked underneath of there, there's actually 2 threaded holes that line up with this. So our particular Jeep doesn't have this, but I just wanted to show you this bracket, and I'll show you where those mounting points are when we get underneath of the Jeep. But right now, I'm gonna show you how to install this relocation bracket. Then we're gonna put our license plate in with our license plate lights. So, like I said, this is your relocation bracket. We have our 4 mounting points for our license plate, and this does have an offset. Now the bottom right here has these square holes. That's gonna sit against the bumper, and we have these carriage bolts that have a square top right there. These are actually gonna drop down through, and that's what's gonna keep those in place. So we're gonna go ahead and set this on top, and then we'll get it bolted down. So once you get both of those bolts in, we're gonna tighten it up. I'm gonna use a 13mm socket on a ratchet to tighten them down. So the next thing we have to do is install our little LED license plate lights. Now these are pretty cool, actually the way they work. They're gonna capture our license plate inside of this bracket. So what we're gonna do, first thing, we're gonna slap this license plate on, line those holes up. Now each one of these lights is going to have a washer and a nut on there, so you're gonna have to unthread those as well. Once you get those off, we're gonna pull all that stuff off, and then we're gonna feed these through. Once you feed them through, we're gonna slide that washer and that nut back on there, and then we can line them up, angle them, and then tighten them up. So you want to make sure that your little LED is pointing down at your license plate. Once you get that in place, we're going to use a 10mm wrench. All we're going to do is just gently tighten up that nut. So we do have one last thing to do before we get this bumper installed. Now from the factory, inside of our frame rail here on the passenger side, we have a nut plate. Now this nut plate only has 1 threaded hole, and our brand new bumper requires 2 bolts to go up through the bottom. So we need to get that bolt plate out. Now from the factory, we have a nut plate in here, and this only has 1 threaded hole. Our brand new bumper requires 2 bolts to go up through the bottom, so we need to get that nut plate out. Now we have a brand new nut plate here. It has a double nut plate on here, and we're gonna install that in the frame for when we put our bumper on. Now on our driver's side, we already have 2 welded nuts on that side, so we don't need to put one of these bolt plates in. We only have to do it on this passenger side. So I'm gonna take a 21mm socket on an extension so I can get past this exhaust system, take that bolt out and slide this plate out. After you get that bolt plate out, next thing we're gonna do, just gonna go ahead and slide that in. We wanna just line it up with these holes, then we're ready to install our bumper. So at this point in time, we're ready to install our bumper. Now this is a pretty heavy bumper, and we have no way of holding this up besides getting that hardware installed, so I would strongly recommend grabbing a friend. I have my friend Andrew here, he's gonna help me out. Also, you wanna stage that hardware. We're gonna be using the largest hardware that they give us in the kit. We're gonna lift this up, get some of the side bolts in, and then we'll secure this thing. So we're underneath of the Jeep. We're gonna start installing some of our bumper hardware to bolt it to the frame. So you can see we're using these large stubby black bolts. Each one's going to get a lock washer and then a flat washer on top of that. You're gonna have 2 holes on the side and you'll have 2 underneath. We're gonna start with these side holes and then just get these bolts started. And we'll just get these bolts started by hand. So now that we have all of these in, we're going to wait to tighten them up until we get the other side in. So since we have our nut plate on this side, we're going to have to be pretty careful not to push it out of the way. And we want to gently thread these in, get them started. Once you get one started, it's going to be a lot easier to hold that other side still so you can get that other bolt started. So now that we have both of those installed, we can go around and tighten up all of our hardware. So to tighten them up, we're going to use that same 21mm socket. I'm going to start with the bottom ones. That way it's going to push this bumper up and set it in place. After that, we'll do our side ones. Then we'll go to the other side and do the same thing. So the last thing we have to do is wire up our license plate lights. Now we have our pigtails here. We're actually going to splice both of these into each other, and then we have our factory harness over here. So the way Westin wants us to do this, they want us to cut this plug off here, and then they give us these heat shrink butt connectors. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach these to these wires. Now on these lights, you're going to have a red and a black. Your red's going to be your positive, the black's going to be the ground. So what we're actually going to do, we're going to take both of these reds, we're going to twist them together and install them in one butt connector. We'll do the same thing with the black wires, our negative wires. We're going to line both of those up and we'll twist them together. So I'm going to take my do-it-all wiring tool. What I'm going to do is just go in there and I'm going to crimp these. So I want to make sure that we get both of those wires inside of there. And we want to smush that connector. That way both of them are in there. And we'll do the same thing for the black one. And then we'll work on getting that plug off. Make sure that wire's all the way inside of that butt connector before you crimp it down. So now we have both of these ends on there. We're going to work on getting this plug off. So if you wanted to, you could cut these wires, you could splice in a butt connector, run another wire off and connect these to it. That way you wouldn't have to cut this thing completely off. You'd still have this plug if you ever want to put your bumper back on. However, we're going to do it exactly how Westin wants us to do it. So we're just going to cut these wires right here. Nice and neat. And we'll take that same wiring tool, strip the ends of them. Now we're ready to connect these wires. So on your factory plug, you're gonna have a black wire and you're gonna have this white with a blue trace. This black wire is gonna be our ground. So we're gonna connect black to black and then we'll do the other ones to our positive wire. Same thing, we wanna insert that in the butt connector. Make sure we get all of those copper wires in there if you have to. You can twist the ends a little bit. And that usually does a pretty good job at keeping them together when you're trying to fish them in here. Get them all the way inserted in. I'm gonna be real careful not to pull it back out, and then we're gonna crimp the end down. So now that we have that one, we're gonna do the same thing for this other one. We're gonna start by twisting the ends of this wire right here, and we're gonna feed that in. Then we'll go ahead and crimp it. All right, so now that you have both of these in, this whole thing's wired up. Now these are heat shrinks, so what you want to do is apply some heat. You can use a hair dryer or anything that you have that's going to put out some heat. That's going to shrink these shut, and it's going to keep any water or anything from getting into there and corroding that connection. So at this point in time, we have this bumper completely installed, and you're ready to add any 3-inch LEDs and of course source rock lights directly from Westin. However, with that being said, that's going to wrap up my review and install. For more videos and products like this, check us out at ExtremeTerrain.com.